Yo, what's good with y'all? Back in black with some good old enlisted gameplay. Today, we are playing defense on Versamir Assault Mode. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about was just playing defense in general, to be honest, because I don't know, especially on console, I just feel like I be looking at my teammates sometimes and I just be like, yo, what is going on here? But before I get into it, I wanted to ask you guys to consider dropping a like and consider subbing me up. I'm almost at my first 100 subs, so any support you guys do give me will make sure the teammates that you guys get will actually play the objective. Anyways, the first few tips are more generalized to the game, but let's get into it. The first thing I would do is turn your field of view up. This is something that not all console players care to do, and I don't even know if they're even aware that they have the ability to do it for that matter. This makes the general gameplay experience better because overall it widens your peripheral vision, and the more of that you have, the better you can react to threats on your left or right. I personally have mine on 95.5, but you can adjust that as you see fit. And the second point is that unlike Call of Duty, the camera isn't necessarily attached to the gun when you're looking around and moving your right stick. This is why the game generally feels kind of wonky and like your gun is always swaying like left or right when you go to aim at somebody. And for those who are just now migrating over to try this game out, I'm sure you're not really used to that, so I just had to go and explain that really quick. For that reason alone, if you haven't, I would recommend going into the controller settings real quick while you're in practice mode and mess around with those until you feel comfortable. I actually have a controller settings guide that I will link down in the description if you guys are interested. My third point is also my last piece of general advice, is that you should not handicap yourself for no reason if you don't need to. Make sure you go into the game settings and turn the slider to consoles only, as far as the matchmaking experience goes, because unless you have buddies on PC, they typically have the advantage due to superior movement and aim with the keyboard and mouse. Not that you can't hold your own, I'm not doubting your ability or nothing like that. It's just I don't see a reason to subject yourself to that if you don't have to. Number 4, moving into the my actual methodology of playing defense in this game. The first thing I wanted to say to console players is to please spread out. Unless there's like one objective, there's no reason for me to see like one huge cluster of blue dots sitting on one point. And if the enemy team is smart, they'll be doing the same thing, because staying clustered up as a team just makes it easy for artillery, bomber planes, and tanks to focus in, clear out everybody on the point, whether that be offense or defense. Not to mention that, if there is more than one objective, which there usually is in the assault game mode, you can assume that, one guy is going to, be doing that mean ass flank all the way off to the side. So you got to spread around and check around for stuff like that. The fifth tip that I wanted to give is that verticality is definitely your friend on defense. You can and you should find ways to climb onto roofs for, unexpected vantage points. And not that there is, a lot of buildings and roofs to jump on, and especially on like countryside maps, but I know especially like in the 1940s, it's not like there's a lot of buildings to jump onto. But whenever they are available, I would definitely recommend taking advantage of that with, a sniper team or something like that. The best way I've noticed to get onto a roof is like, if a ladder isn't around, is to build some sandbags, jump onto those, and then pull yourself up. It's the same concept as jumping through like a high window or something like that. It would be cool if we had like ladders for the engineer class as well, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going off on a tangent. As for number 6, we are all fully aware that the spawns are like hella far back on defense, and of course they are. Would rally points really be as useful as they are if that wasn't the case? Let's be real. That being said, rally points aren't, they aren't just some offensive tool so that attacking teams can spawn closer and closer or attack you in masses from like unexpected flanks. Defense teams can use rally points just as effectively to keep boosting the player density of an objective, therefore making it harder to take overall, provided your whole team doesn't get wiped out due to like lack of gun skill or something like that. Anyways, you can place rally points 30 meters or so, I believe, from the objective. So there are 2 ways I would specifically go about this if you are playing defense. Obviously, you want to get as close as allowed to the point, but suppose your team of like randoms or whoever you're playing with, like let's suppose they're all on point A, right? In your head, you should already be thinking that the enemy is going to push B because that is the weakest objective. So what you should do, or at least what I would do, is I would put the rally point behind B, so since the majority of your team is at A, when they die, they will feel incentivized to spawn at B. 1, because it is closer to the objective, and 2, because nobody on your team is there already, and it's going to be easy pickings for the enemy if they decide to actually run over there and try to take it. Alternatively, if your team actually has a decent balance of players between both objectives, you can put the rally point like somewhere in the middle or between both objectives so that your team can spawn obviously closer up, but also at the same time they can decide whether they want to go to A or B to, whoever needs the support more, or whichever, yeah, basically whichever the objective needs help the most at that certain point in time. But nevertheless, rally points on defense are just as useful, if not more so, than, on offense. Bruh. I cannot stress this enough. Engineers are probably the most important type of soldier in this game, especially when you're playing defense. And I'm aware that the building system isn't like the most fluid or fast thing in the world, but it's pretty criminal to me how underused the engineers are. And unless it's like inside a bunker on D-Day, I rarely ever see barbed wire or like tank traps or anything of that nature. But yeah, man, build those sandbags around the objective, man. Put those tank traps on the road, build the AT gun right behind it. And for the love of God, bruh, someone please, besides myself, attempt to build some AA and shoot down the enemy aircraft or the bombers, because, like, quite frankly, the bombers are a little absurd, in my personal opinion. I know people are kind of like up in the air about that, but it's gotten better over time. Another thing I would like to see is for more people to start building those ammo boxes, because for people who go on long gun streaks like myself, I do run out of ammo. And I don't know, sometimes like whenever my squad gets obliterated and I only have one dude left, scavenging guns off of people is cool, but that only works for, so long until you die again. I probably should have said this like way back at the beginning of the video, but when you are playing defense and like as soon as the game starts, calling your artillery right in front of the objective, or you can call it in on popular flank routes. This will slow down the enemy's initial rush, and it'll give your time, or I guess your team more it'll give your team more time to set up their defense, and you guys won't get overrun in the first objective in like 30 seconds, because I think typically in this game the first objective is the easiest, so you want to make that as hard as possible, or you want to use that objective to take as many lives from the enemy as possible, because they start with 1,000. So yeah, calling the artillery will probably, hold them up a little bit and do some wonders for your team as far as setting up defense and building fortifications and stuff like that, provided they actually choose to do so. This is my last tip, and it's also probably the biggest one, but if it's not a given already, you guys need to mark everything. Mark everything you shoot at, whether that be a soldier, every tank, every machine gun nest, every plane. Just mark stuff, man. Mark as much as you can, because for whatever reason, on console, we don't have any type of team chat, or any way to communicate for the team for that matter. So unless you like are partying up with friends, or something like that, the most we can do at this point is just mark people. It kind of sucks that they don't, the reason it sucks is because like they let you give out these accolades on PlayStation at the end of the game, and it'll be like, oh, this guy was helpful, or oh, this guy was really cool to talk to, and it's like I'll be getting those, and it kind of surprises me, because like I play the whole game without saying a word, because there's just no way to talk to my team. So it kind of perplexes me a little bit that I can still get those helpful accolades, but the point is that I would be even more of a helpful teammate if I could actually talk to my team, or like mark something or communicate. I don't know, the most you can do is mark the enemy or put a pin on the map, and it's not like anybody looks at, like, randos anyway. It's not like any randoms look at the map and go to the objective anyways. But nevertheless, those were all the quick tips I had for playing defense on Enlisted. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Dropped a smooth little 90 kills. I really should have got 100, but yeah, I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like a sub, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Black Guy out.